Hello, my fellow individuals. I am Mr. Mini Mask Man here, and today I'm going to have a spoiler review of The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 9. Now, obviously, if you've not seen the episode, then please watch that first before you continue watching this video here, as it contains, obviously, spoilers and possible comic book spoilers as well. Right, so let's see, the mid-season premiere for Season 7. I would say I thoroughly did enjoy this one. I thought this was a very good way to start back, to jump back in. You know, I didn't feel it was very slow pace or anything. I think this is a very good setup. I like the pacing a lot better in this episode. So it kind of got through a lot of everything. So it kind of started out with just, in the beginning where Father Gabriel took the food and just drove away, where I'm just kind of like, at first I was kind of like, nah, he's not going to abandon... he's not going to abandon those guys, but I knew there was something going on. So something was up, and I probably he was planning something. He was going to hide the food, probably before the Saviors take it, or for more of an offering, etc. So I knew something was up, but not something like betrayal or like that. But I knew Father Gabriel had a plan. I just didn't know what, until probably, at the end of the episode. So, that happened. And then now the best part for me was when they met King Ezekiel. So that for me was the best part. So this whole episode was more about just starting the recruitment. This is recruiting time. So obviously Gregory said no, but the people from the Hilltop said, well, yeah, we'll do it. Well, if you possibly think we can win this, we will join in. We don't have the experience, fighting combat experience, etc. But, if you guide us, then, we can definitely do it, and we will fight. We'll fight for our freedom from the Saviors, from Negan, and all those guys. So, so that's good. So, they got the Hilltop down, with the exception of Gregory, but who the hell needs Gregory, honestly? So, those guys are down. Now, when they went to the Kingdom, it was kind of a bit funny where Rick and the group were just kind of like, the hell is this place? By the mannerisms, the way they're talking, when they say King Ezekiel, where Jesus is kind of like, yeah, So they met him, and I think I told you from the last reviews, where this predictions for this last half season is going to be solely just the recruitments of the groups that Rick and the gang from Alexandria, they need, to go against the Saviors. So obviously, technically Hilltop is down for it, so they're good. So that's Hilltop's down. Now they just need the Kingdom, which is the big one they also need. So they're going to talk to King Ezekiel about it, and you can kind of tell King Ezekiel, there's some ways where he just didn't want to, because he has a good thing going for him. With the Saviors, they're so far Saviors haven't really went, making their lives miserable per se. I mean, there's moments where they still take advantage of them, like the one time they encountered them during the trade of the pigs or whatever, during the pork and all that, and they start beating up what's his name? Was it Richard? One of King Ezekiel's, one of his right hand man there. So, and obviously he didn't like it, but he kind of had to still withstand it just to get on their good side. So because so far they haven't really killed a lot of their people or all of that yet, or took more advantage of their stuff yet. And that's the problem, is yet. That's what Rick is trying to explain. That's what Richard's always been trying to explain with Ezekiel, King Ezekiel. And King Ezekiel's kind of like, I don't want to push it. We got things going. So far it hasn't happened, so as long as we're doing this, it'll never happen. We won't be on their bad side. They won't do anything to us as long as we're still got this peace going. Even though I don't like it, but nothing's bad happening so far. So, there's many considerations where, Richard always tried to convince Rick did, especially with the story about the girl in the rock, that whole path. And I thought that was actually it was a pretty nice story, So, and it kind of gave Ezekiel a lot of thought. And, God, I forgot the kid's name, who's been trained under Morgan, who encountered Carol, by the way, in the woods. And, Carol just kind of gave him some typical advice, and the usual just stay away from me kind of situation. Carol being Carol, of course. But I know for sure Carol is definitely going to join the fight. Something's going to happen, maybe. I don't know, Morgan's going to explain what happened, which now that Morgan knows about the deaths of Glenn, Abraham, and the others, he might tell Carol, and Carol will really highly think about fighting against the Savior. Maybe at the beginning she's like, oh, I'm not doing this to fight with y'all, this is more of a personal thing and all that. And then later, she'll probably hopefully get back together with the group and stop with the whole isolation thing, or I don't want to get people in danger. All that's, what Carol's trying to avoid in the first place. So, which is why Morgan didn't respected Carol's wishes and didn't tell Rick and the gang where she is. He just kind of says, she's just kind of gone right now. She's safe, but gone. But, she's eventually going to go join them. We don't know when, we don't know the cause. I think it is between either Morgan telling him the deaths of those characters. Specifically, I think maybe Glenn will hit her hard, because she knew him the most since the beginning, since Season 1. So, I don't know if that'll be the big trigger or motivation. Or something will happen, and this is okay. And then I guess it'll come back to Herb in a bit, but, at the end, Ezekiel said no. He just says, no, I don't want to risk it. I've thought about it. And, the kid from that encountered Carol, he told Ezekiel to take the offer from Rick and that they should fight back, because eventually the Saviors they'll do something, they'll go overboard, and it's going to be too late, is what he's trying to say. So, there's many thoughts and inputs that is still in his head, and you kind of tell he's hesitant, like he kind of does from their reasonings. They're good reasons, but at the same time, he's got a good thing going. So it's kind of like that decision where, like, if nothing's happening, if you're good in terms with these guys, even though they technically are in control of you, but you're in good terms, do I really need to take a chance to cause this havoc and fight? And then now there will never be peace. But it depends on the confidence. That he doesn't have that confidence that they'll win. He just doesn't have that confidence because he says, I'm taking the risk, my people will die in the process, and if we lose, it's all done for us, all of us. At least that's what I'm kind of thinking what Ezekiel's mind is going through. When deciding to join forces with Rick and the gang to fight against Negan and the Saviors. So that's still kind of there. He's not sure. So obviously he told Rick, you know what, I don't want to take a risk. I'll be happy to take Daryl's safety in here from the kingdom, but I'm sorry, but I can't fight with you. So obviously, Rick, and he's kind of disappointed and left like, okay, it is what it is. So, but I know eventually Ezekiel is going to join Rick. Although it's funny thing, in the comics, Ezekiel's more motivated, and actually, when Rick told him about that, Ezekiel had a little bit of these back thoughts, but he ended up saying, yeah, sure, let's do it. He was kind of more into it in the comics compared to the show. But in the show, I can kind of see what they're doing. They're kind of trying to give him that push, because in reality, if you kind of think about it, there's nothing really, at least for Ezekiel's side. I know for Richard and a few of the guys there, they do want to fight back, and they kind of have that same perspective from Rick. But from Ezekiel's mind and what he sees in his community, technically they're doing good. They're doing all right. Actually, they're doing the best out of the three communities. So they have a good thing going on, honestly, to be honest with you. So that's why Ezekiel's kind of like, why do I have to do this? We have a good thing going. So, and I can kind of understand why. I mean, it's like you want them to fight. They have to fight, but you kind of have to understand from Ezekiel's perspective as this leader, or technically king, from a community that you're in charge of. Putting danger of your people, knowing the cause of casualties and all that, and you're not 100% guaranteed of victory. He just met Rick and all that, so he doesn't know exactly Rick and the gangs, what they've gone through, how they fight, etc. So he just doesn't know yet. Maybe if he knows them better, knows what they've been through and has the chances. I mean, I know Rick told him that they took an outpost all by themselves, but still, So for now, Ezekiel said no. But I think something's going to happen either the next episode or the episode after, where maybe one of the trade-offs, either one of the trade-offs or in search of Daryl, because currently they are in search of Daryl. Now obviously they knew he escaped, so they're probably going one at a time, the communities, to figure out where the hell is he, and to kill him obviously, or some punishment, some sort of punishment, Negan style. So something like that. But or is between that or just another trade-off? It's not really trading. I'm sorry, they're not trading on. They're actually just giving their portion to the Saviors. So probably something like that, some pickup, either a pickup or in search of Daryl. Something's gonna happen. They're gonna go way overboard. They're maybe gonna kill somebody. I assume it's gonna be a cause of death. It has to be something from a cause of death. One of Negan's guys, is probably gonna get killed. And Ezekiel will be in shock. He's like, the hell? Why? It's like, I'm doing everything you told me. We made a deal. We're in a peace. Why all of a sudden this happened? And he's probably going to get ticked off. He's going to be sad. And he's going to say, you know what? The hell with it. He's going to go ahead later, meet up with Rick. Or he's going to summon Rick. And then he'll join. So that's the possibility of what I think will happen. Now, if it's the whole search of Daryl thing, they'll probably kill somebody. Either ways, a cause of death is going to happen. It'll be a cause of death that I think will ignite Ezekiel to join the fight. So between either it's just something wrong happens during the pickup, or in search of Daryl, they're just aggressive. They think he's lying. Well, obviously, obviously later on, that he's hiding Daryl. He ended up, Rick told Daryl to stay there, in hiding, because out of all the communities, that's the least chance where the Saviors will look for. Well, they'll still ask and all that, but they never enter in the kingdom themselves. It's always outside the walls of the kingdom where they always do the pickups. So something is going to happen for sure, and Ezekiel's just going to get outraged, and boom, and there you go. And then he's going to go ahead and join the fight. And I don't know. Like I said, going back to Carol, I don't know if Carol will find out. Either Ezekiel will talk to Carol about what happened and she might join in, but it doesn't sound likely. I still think maybe Carol will join the fight once she knows the truth of the deaths of her friends or / quote-unquote family. And I think that's what will probably get her thinking a lot to join in the fight. So I think that's what's going to happen. Now, okay, I think one of the coolest parts though was when Rick and the gang were going back to Alexandria, and then, the Saviors put all these, cars in the way on this highway. And, they had to move the cars, and they saw these bombs. So Rosita I think it was Rosita, if I remember, that had to get to take it out. She knew how to defuse them, and still get them in use for later. And apparently it was some sort of trap, for all of it to explode to summon the walkers. Now, what I thought was pretty cool, which I never, out of creativity depths of walkers, almost like when you kind of think of it from Zombieland, of creative ways to kill zombies, I would say this is one of the greatest ways they've done it in this series so far. Of all these seasons, I think this is the most creative way, where they got the wires from the bomb, where Rick and Michonne were just like this, adjacent or across from each other from these two roads, and just started slicing up all the walkers. I'm like, I am impressed. Not bad. Finally. It's like, finally I see a very awesome creative way of killing walkers than just, the usual just running around, push, stab in the head, or shot in the head kind of deal. It's actually a very creative way where they killed a bunch of them in numbers in a really brutal fashion. So I give A props at least to that on that episode. So there you go. That was actually, honestly, one of my favorite parts in that episode, was the way a very smart and awesome plan to knock out almost the majority of those herd of walkers, and then plus Rosita finished the job where she left a couple of the bombs still active there where it exploded. So although I'm kind of wondering, what the hell, Rosita, when Sasha was talking to Rosita and all that, she's kind of like, the hell you're talking to me for? We're not friends. We've been with the same dude, but that doesn't mean we're friends. And it's like, come on, Rosita, just let it go. come on, just let it go. This is not a time to be this whole rivalry situation, or come on, just, you know, I could have sworn for that mid-season finale, you know, obviously the episode before this one, where Rosita just looked at Sasha and they both kind of stared and she just kind of smiled a little, or I don't know if she smiled a little, but or some sort of grin. She just kind of gave that nod of approval, saying, Sasha, hey, we're cool. And now all of a sudden they're not. I'm like, come on. So hopefully that doesn't take too long for them to finally just say, hey, we're cool now. You know, hopefully it doesn't drag it out, and Rosita really needs to just let it go and just, you know, no time to fight within each other or hate each other when you have to deal with the bigger threat. So hopefully that gets blown off and taken care of. So no pun intended. But yeah, now and then obviously they came back and the Saviors. You know, the Saviors immediately, once Rick and all that, he was already has plans going, but the Saviors already came in and they're already searching for Daryl. And it's Simon, Negan's other right-hand man besides Dwight. You know, instead, he was the one in charge in this group where they were searching for Daryl. They just went there, started thrashing the place and all that. And then he noticed the food is gone. That's when the group notices the hell happened to our food. All of it was gone, you know, thanks to Father Gabriel. And, you know, he's just kind of like, you know, Simon, or sometimes that's what people call him, Trevor, obviously GTA 5, you know, being himself. Yeah, I always love that guy when he's on screen in that very comical sense. Kind of a douchey but comical sense at the same time. Just like Trevor from GTA 5. That's why it was like the perfect role. So that's why most people, even I, most of the time, just call him Trevor. So I know, I think the actor's name's like Stephen Ogg. You know, sorry for the mispronunciation of the last name. But anyways, you know, it's a good seeing him. But I know he's going to probably be taken care of, I would say, actually, this season. You know, I would say he's probably going to get killed or during the fight or some battle this season. I don't think he's going to... I think I'm leaning more towards that something's going to happen where he is going to fight or get killed or something this season. But he's not going to be in the all-out war. That's like, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen the premiere of season 8. Or season 8 is going to set up the all-out war. And while the season finale of season 7 is the declaration of the all-out war. After the comic book spoilers, by the way. After the failed attempt of Negan's assassination. At the outside walls of Alexandria. So... I don't think he's going to be during the all-out war. I think something's just going to happen to him during this mid-season on season 7. At least that's what I think is going to happen. So obviously, yeah, you know, they left and all that, and now they're looking for well, at least Rick. He firmly believes, Rick and the majority of the group, with the exception of Rosita, I think, that believe that Father Gabriel wouldn't just all of a sudden betray them and just leave with their food. So Rick firmly believes, it's like, you know what, no, you know, something's up, he must have left something. They start finding clues, and they found the word, they found I think it was a notebook. I don't know if it was in the Bible or if it was in the notebook somewhere he opened, and he saw the word boat. So Aaron and Rick were kind of like, how the hell does he know that? And now once that moment happened, I'm like, boats, I'm like, oh, so Father Gabriel and that mysterious person from the last episode, where we only saw their boots, something must have intertwined, or they had a conversation or something. And I think that's why Father Gabriel took the food. Well, taking the food thing, I'm still not 100% sure. I don't know what's going on with there, but the reason why he left and kind of told him, hey, meet me there. So obviously they went, you know, and then all of a sudden you see, and it's almost like this junkyard in a way, some sort of outside dump or junkyard, it looks like. All of a sudden you see these people coming out with these guns one by one, and they're surrounding Rick and the group, little by little. You know, more numbers coming. At the beginning I saw majority were women. I'm like, oh, is this Oceanside? But little by little I didn't recognize any of them from the main group members of Oceanside. You know, the all-female group. Well, you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, you know, with the Tara episode, Tara and Heath. And I might get back to Heath actually in a tiny bit. So, But then I saw some guys that are like, oh, this is a completely new group. And, you know, as it zooms in on Rick, you see Rick just starts little by little just smiling and grinning. Which is either, and that's where the episode ends. Now, this is what I think on that little prediction, I guess, is either Rick saw Gabriel there within the crowd, or he looked at him around and he's like, oh, hell yeah, this is another group I can convince to join. And he has numbers. So he's like, I got numbers, you know? You know, if I don't have the kingdom, I got these guys. So he can hopefully try to convince them. Or, the other thing is, I don't know if maybe that mysterious person with the boots is actually Heath himself. Because Heath has been gone since that Terra episode. We don't know what the hell happened to him. So what if Keith met with this new group? By the way, this is a completely new group. They're not in the comics whatsoever. Not at all. New group just for the series, which I'm very interested to see. So I'm pretty sure next episode is going to cover a lot about this group. I think almost the whole episode, the majority of the episode will just cover about this new group now. And I've seen online they keep calling them the Garbage Pail Kids, or the Garbage Pail People, you know, whatever. So I'm like, okay, so a new original group, and I'm probably something must happen again. Probably because of Negan and the Saviors, and they kind of escaped and made their own group. I'm betting, unless it's something else completely, or just a separate group of people. And Rick is going to warn them that, you know, they're going to Negan's going to find you guys eventually in the Saviors, and they're going to start taking your stuff, so that's why we have to fight back. So Rick is going to really, truly try to convince them, you know, to join the fight. At least that's what I'm thinking what's going to happen. And Gabriel probably met the mysterious person with the boots or whatever out there from last episode, and kind of knew what happened. They had this talk, and that's where why he let Rick in the game, to say, hey guys, I found this group and they'll be a good asset for our fight. So yeah, at least that's what I think. So this would be interesting. We got another completely new group, because Oceanside was mentioned in the comics, but they were never part of the fight. I think, were they? I can't remember if they were. I don't recall them being part of the fight in the comics. I know they were later mentioned quite a bit during the Whisperers arc, which is the ones after this arc. After Negan's arc is the Whisperers. But I don't recall if they were part of the fight in the All Out War. I don't remember, honestly. I gotta read it up again. So now we got this new group, and I kind of see what they're doing, why this show kind of went this route with this whole new group, because honestly, we see the numbers of Hilltop, that's not a lot of people. And we see the Kingdom, there's quite a bit, but compared to Negan's army of the Saviors, it doesn't really look like it's enough. So I think that's why they added Oceanside's group, to say, oh, well, so now they have more there. And now we got this other group, so now it looks like they'll have a real huge number and equal to Negan's. So, because in the comics, the Hilltop and the Kingdom, they had a lot more people to fight. So in the comics, it looked like, okay, there's a lot of people here that they'll fight, you know, plus including Rick's and Alexandria. So it looked equal with just those three communities alone. But in the show, they're trying to combine a total of almost 5 now. You know, with the main 3, which is Alexandria, Hilltop, and the Kingdom, plus these 2 extras, which is the Oceanside. I assume Oceanside's definitely going to join the fight, because what's the point of showing an episode focus on them? And I think probably Terra, I don't know if she'll break her promise to the girl that she made and probably tell Rick, in desperation of numbers, will probably tell Rick about this other group, Oceanside. Or she'll probably meet them up. She'll go back by herself and talk to him that she really needs those allies with Oceanside. So either them, plus them, and now these new group, the Garbage Pail group for kids. Forgot the name, I'm sorry. But anyways, so now we got another group, and it's looking very promising. So I think the majority of this whole season is this opposite feeling of I don't know if to call it redemption or hope. You know, compared to the first half of Season 7, where we kind of see the cast, you know, all these guys here under control of him, just feeling down, breaking apart, one at a time getting killed, or mentally breaking down psychologically or broken by spirit, hopelessness, and all that. And now this second half is the rise of that. It's like they're finally standing up. So I think I'm gonna really enjoy this second half, where now it's like the opposite, where it's like saying, okay, now we're fighting back, and little by little they'll get the numbers and they'll slowly start fighting. You know, a couple probably the saviors that come in, just the ones that visit to for the pickups of their stuff, they'll probably start attacking and killing those groups. And which I'm saying maybe the main one they'll probably get rid of was Simon, him and his group that he usually draws. But I think he's gonna be the main one they're gonna take down first. You know, one of Negan's main right-hand mans besides Dwight, of course. Now the question is, in the comics, again, comic book spoiler, Dwight does later, he does betray Negan, and has a secret meeting with Ezekiel, Jesus, and Rick, and goes to fight against Negan. Because we know why Negan. I mean, Dwight hates Negan and all that. So we know, but something's gonna happen. So I don't know when is that moment. When it will be the pushing moment for Dwight to finally just say, the hell with this, you know, and then he's gonna secretly. He's probably going to make an excuse to Negan. I'm probably going to scavenge something or do something, but in reality he's going to meet with the gang and start convincing him to help him fight. And he'll tell him everything about the Saviors, Negan and the Saviors and their compound, etc. I don't know when is that moment going to happen, but it's got to happen sometime this season. Unless for some reason the show or the series is not going to do it. Which will be an interesting take, you know? So, I don't know when that'll be, but soon enough they'll have to come back to that with Dwight. And if they don't, either Dwight's going to betray him during the All-Out War instead of before, which will be an interesting twist. So, we'll see though, we'll see on that. But overall, I would say this was actually a good mid-season premiere. You know, and like I said, I like the pace because it didn't focus like a whole episode of probably Rick and the gang trying to convince Ezekiel to join the fight. And at the very end of the episode, Ezekiel will say, no. And then that's the end of that. So I'm kind of glad that it went quick. They're like, okay, they already got the introduction. The groups all finally know each other. But Ezekiel said no, and then they're moving on, you know. So I would say this is actually a much better pace. At least with this episode, I'm hoping they keep this pace throughout almost all, or the majority of this, the rest of this season. You know, I want to call it filler, but, you know, no wasted time where they could have just done something quick. You know, they just start picking it up. They don't have to go too fast where they lose some important factors or development, or maybe a few other missing character development and all that, but I don't know. So the only thing I'm left thinking is where the hell is Heath? Is he with that group that I just mentioned? Will they finally show me he's there the whole time, or they won't reveal until way down the road of this season? Or probably until next season, actually. So there's that, and then we'll figure out a lot more about this new group now. Probably next episode, I think, was going to happen. And I know for sure we're going to get an episode down the road about Eugene and how he's handled in Sanctuary, where the Saviors are. So we're going to have, you know, that, and I guess we'll see. It'll be an interesting interaction between Morgan and Daryl at the, the Kingdom. Or even better, actually, you know what? I think now that I completely forgot, Daryl has a high possibility of meeting Carol. And maybe Daryl will be the one that will really convince Carol to join the fight. I think that's what's going to happen, actually. I think that'll be it. Yeah, I think that'll be it right there. It'll be because of Daryl that Carol's going to join the fight. That's my highest guesstimation and possibility of why she's going to join this fight. So, okay, there he goes. And that's probably maybe the main purpose of why they left Daryl. I mean, I know in the show they're trying to hide him, but I mean, like, for the show writers, why they kind of made that move of leaving Daryl in the Kingdom. Because now he definitely has a high chance of seeing Carol, and then he's going to tell him everything and try to convince her, you know, and so forth. So yeah, so there we go. But overall, I would say this was actually a good episode. It was a really good one. I love the pacing. It got things right, and I can't wait to see what's more. It's already setting up for now for this recruitment. The group is rising again, and they're gonna fight back and finally take care of business. And Negan's gonna be like, the fuck is going on? You know, until, like I said, until they really plan. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the season finale will be the assassination attempt of Negan. But obviously they're gonna fail because Negan does have his backup plans. He's gonna survive. And that's when they're going to declare the all-out war. And boom, Season 8, all of Season 8 will be all-out war. And I can't wait for that one. So this was a good start. I would say this was a good start for this episode, for this mid-season now. So yeah, overall that's what I think. Those are my somewhat theories and predictions. I think what's going to happen. You know, in comparison to the comics, I know that they're really changing it up a bit with these new people, new groups. So I can't wait to see how they contribute just for the series of this. So all in all, good. So can't wait to see for next week's episode. But anyways, I guess I'm gonna wrap this up pretty much. So I'm pretty much got everything on top of my head of what I had to say there. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. And if you like the video, you know what to do. And as I always say to everyone here, I hope you guys have a nice day.